Fifth grade poetry lesson, determining the theme of a poem. We're using ELA standard 5RL2. Determine a theme of a story, drama, or poem from the details in the text, including how characters in a story or drama respond to its challenges, or how the speaker in the poem reflects upon a topic. Summarize the text. The objective of the lesson is I will learn to determine the topic and the theme of the poem. Key terms. Topic, what the poem is actually about. The main idea. We can also say the song. Main idea. Main idea. My pen writing is excellent, as you can see. The theme is the central idea or underlying message of a poem. The theme is usually not directly stated. You usually have to figure it out for yourself. So, part 1, we are going to determine the theme of paintings. So each painting is going to have a theme, and we're going to look and determine what are the themes. This is The Scream by Edvard Munch. We have a man who is obviously in some kind of turmoil or pain. He is holding his head, kind of what I do when I have a migraine. He is holding his ears. He looks like he might be screaming with all this distortion. So think about what words you might use to describe the theme of this art. Themes are usually 1 to 2 words, such as pain, suffering. If it was a different painting, love, happiness. I'm going to give you a frame, a sentence frame. Let's see, our sentence frame is, I think the theme of this painting is blank because I see blank. So I said, I think the theme of this painting is emotional suffering because I see a man who looks like he is in pain. Our next painting is The Child's Bath by Mary Cassatt. Mary Cassatt is famous for her paintings of mothers and their children. In this painting, a mom is delicately, gently washing her baby girl's feet. So in my sentence frame, I put my sentence frame up. Ooh. My mouse got stuck. Sorry, my mouse is stuck. There you go. I think the theme of this painting is blank because I see. So I said the theme as mother's love because I see a mother gently washing her feet. My next painting is Romeo and Juliet by Frank Bernard Dixie. This is just one scene from Romeo and Juliet. There are many. He chose in this painting to draw a happy love scene. So here's my sentence frame. And for this picture, I would say, I think the theme of this painting is love, because I see a couple kissing. So now we are going to determine the theme of a poem. My first poem is Hug of War by Shel Silverstein. Shel Silverstein is a famous author who wrote children's poems. This poem is from one of his books and it's called Hug of War. It says, I will not play at tug of war, I'd rather play at hug of war, where everyone hugs instead of tugs, where everyone giggles and rolls on the rug, where everyone kisses and everyone grins and everyone cuddles and everyone wins. So, we have two kids. Well, we even have an illustration on this one. We have two kids hugging. So, let's think of some words. This changed the sentence frame a little bit. Instead of the painting, because I said the poem, and because I read words like. So we have words like. We have words like. Try to get my. Oh, there we go. Highlighter. I have words like giggles, kisses, grins, cuddles. So those are, to me, sound like love and friendship words. So I would say I think the theme of this poem is friend. Ship. Because I read words like the words I highlighted: giggle, kisses, grins, and cuddles. Your word might be different. Everyone doesn't have to agree. Themes are not necessarily agreed upon all the time, or they can be similar words, but they don't have to be the exact word. You might think love. You might think of a different word, and that's okay. That's why they're kind of, you can come up with several different words. So the next poem we're going to read is a little bit longer. Alright, are you ready? I'm going to give you some vocabulary words first. Over here, we have a couple of words. The poem we're going to read is called The Cold Within. The words by Patrick James Kinney. And the words are happenstance, which means by accident. Birch is a type of tree. Tattered means clothing that are torn and in pieces. Idle, not working or active. Bespoke means arranged for. Spite is to wish to hurt, and forlorn is unhappy or hopeless. So here's the poem. 6 humans trapped by happenstance in bleak and bitter cold. Each one possessed a stick of wood, or so the story's told. Their dying fire in need of logs, the first man held his back, for of the faces around the fire he noticed one was black. The next man, looking across the way, saw one not of his church, and couldn't bring himself to give the fire his stick of birch. The third one sat in tattered clothes, he gave his coat a hitch. Why should his log be put to use to warm the idle rich? The rich man just sat back and thought of his wealth he had in store, and how to keep what he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. The black man's face bespoke revenge as the fire passed from his sight. For all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. The last man of this forlorn group did not accept for gain. Giving only to those who gave was how he played the game. Their logs held tight in death's still hands was proof of human sin. They didn't die from cold without, they died from cold within. So, in this story, there are 6 men. They are all outside and they are all cold. Each one has a fire, has a stick of wood that they could put in the fire, but nobody wants to put it in the fire. The first man doesn't want to put it in the fire because he sees one of the men was a black man. The next man saw that one of the other men didn't belong to his church. The third one was a poor man, and he didn't want to give it to the rich man. He didn't want to give warmth to the rich man. The rich man did not want to give it to the poor man. The black man did not want to give it to the white man. And the last man just didn't want to get it because nobody else was giving it. So they all died from the cold. But they didn't die from the cold outside. They died from the cold within. So the author of this poem is saying that they didn't die from the snow or the cold weather. They died from the cold within themselves. So they died from being selfish because nobody wanted to help each other, because nobody saw themselves in each other. So the theme of the story, or the poem, is that none of the men saw humanity, which means they did not see the other men as human. So they died because they were selfish. So this theme of, I would say, the theme of the poem is that selfishness will get you nowhere. So, what is theme again? The theme of the poem is the message of the poem. It can usually be said in 1 word or 2-word phrase. For this poem, I would say, don't be selfish, help others. I would say this one, the theme was friendship or love. The theme is different from the main idea, which is what the poem is about. This is usually written in a sentence or 2, which summarizes the poem. For instance, the topic would be 6 men were in the cold, and their fire was dying. They all had sticks, but nobody wanted to give their sticks, so they all died, which is pretty sad. This one, I would say,